Swope from tangentsfromtasmania.blogspot.com, and today I want to do a couple of tutorials. One of them is to show you how you can add faux stitching to a shape like I have done around these shapes, and the other is to show you how you can combine a shape like a circle or an oval or even a square with a fussy cut image so that you get this overhang effect. I know that it can be done with spellbinders. To me, it's harder to do with spellbinders than it is for me to do it with the Cameo. So I'm going to do two tutorials. The first one is going to show you how to do the stitching. So in order to start, let's open a new screen, and the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that regardless of whether you are coloring your shape or you're going to use colored cardstock, you have no option but to do print and cut, which means that the first thing you've got to do is you've got to have registration marks. Also, unless your printer can print 12-inch wide paper, you're going to be limited to 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So I'm going to set my paper at 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to put my registration marks in. Because regardless of whether I use colored cardstock or I do a print and cut of everything, I am going to have registration marks to get the stitching properly inside of the shape that I cut. So, easiest thing in the world for me to do is to start with just a basic square. So I'm going to choose a rectangle, and I'm going to choose a rectangle. And I'm going to make it really big so y'all can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to zoom in so you can see what's happening. I want to get up here in the corner so that you can see. Now, I've got my rectangle selected. The way that we want to add stitching is I want stitching inside of this, and I want it to mirror the shape of my original file. So to do that, we want to choose open the offset window. It's the white square with the doorknob looking thing on it. And when you do, it gives you two choices. Just to show you what I'm talking about now, I have a rectangle selected. If I choose offset, it goes and creates a rectangle on the outside of my original, and you'll notice it has rounded corners, and that's because it defaults to round here. If I choose corner, it goes there. It also creates a 1/4 inch default offset. So this outer rectangle is 1/4 inch wider around than the internal. Basically a 1/2 inch bigger altogether. Now, let me do a Control Z, go back to where I was. This is I don't want outside, I want inside. So we want to choose internal offset. And I want to make sure that the corner is selected, and it created, I'm going to zoom in and then I'm going to have to zoom out and start over again because that's just the way this program works. I have an internal rectangle that is 4/4 of an inch inside the original. Now, so y'all can see what's really going on, I want to zoom in. I want to get over here in the corner, and I'm going to choose internal offset, and it created an internal rectangle that's 4/100 of an inch inside of the original. I want it bigger than that. That's just a little too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my up and down arrows, and I want it further in, so I want to increase the size. And let's put it 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.125. So my internal rectangle, this is going to be my stitching line when I get through, is 1/8 of an inch inside the outer rectangle that I started with. choose apply, zoom back out, and I have two rectangles. So they look like a square and they're pretty close, but they are rectangles. And the inside one is the one I want to be the stitching line. So that I don't get any confusion and get on the wrong one, I'm going to left click on the outside, choose the big one, and drag it to the side for the time being. And then I'm going back here, zoom in so y'all can see what I'm doing. And now I want to select that internal rectangle and I want to give it some line texture. This is where you create the line effect or the stitching effect. First off, if I have it selected, if I go and open the cut style window, it will show you that this line is going to cut. Don't want it to cut. So first thing you do is choose cut style window and tell it no cut. Then I'm going to give it some color so that you can see it. It's in red right now. I'm going to make it black so that you, oh no, I think I'll make it blue. I think you might be able, nah, black. So it's a black line, and now I want to left click on the open the line style window. The line style window says it is a solid line. It wouldn't print though, and the reason it wouldn't print is because it has no thickness. So with it selected, this is where I get it to print by changing the thickness, and you can make it as thick as you want to. Don't know that you want it that thick. So I'm going to go back down to about 1.25. And now if I printed, it would print a solid line inside of the original when I move it back. By choosing these, you get different stitching effects. So I'm just going to click on them individually so that you can see the effect. Scroll down. This one actually looks more like stitching than any of them to me, but it's for interesting effects. Here's a long and a short, and then this is the long and two shorts. So let's use the stitching effect. And this is the one I want to choose. This is the print line that's going to print inside my border. It's going to be 1.25 thickness. And now let's zoom back out. And this is the square. And to get this the inside one centered inside of what's actually going to cut, I want to either select all by drawing a rectangle around all of it, or you can go down to the bottom toolbar, second rectangle from the left, and choose the select all, and it chooses everything that you have on this map. And then go up to the align tool and tell it center. To change the size and keep everything proportional, once everything is selected, go to the outermost rectangle, grab any one of those corners and do a drag to make it the size you want. And if I choose the outer and fill it with some color so you can see what's going on, oops, that's not a good color. There you can actually see that I have got a black dash line that will print inside of this red rectangle. Again, if you put red cardstock, you would print the red cardstock, it would print this line, you would put it on your mat and cut it. To do any shape, it's the same process. It doesn't matter. So if I take this oval right here and bring it in, pull this over here to the side. I want to select it, choose my offset, internal, Gonna go up to, this time I'm gonna go up to 0.25 so y'all can see what's going on. Apply. Choose the internal, tell it no cut. Line style, I want to make it 1.5, and then I want to choose the dashed, and I want to give it some color, so let's give it a dark blue and color the outside a nice pink. Whoops, didn't click. Choose fill, pink, ooh, purple, little too dark. And now if I did select all down here, it would select this one and this one, and I don't want to do that. So I want to make sure that I'm outside all of the purple, and I'm going to resize it. To add a double layer of stitching, go to this one, zoom in, choose your internal, choose offset, internal, apply, and when you look, it copies whatever this is. So it was a black dashed with a thickness of 1.5. If I choose this one now and look at the line style, it's going to have the same thickness of 1.25 that this one has. So it mimics whatever it insets off of, if that makes sense. So that's how you would add in faux stitching to an image. And as far as I'm concerned, this beats sewing paper on a sewing machine any day of the week. My next tutorial will combine this one with how to do a fussy cut with a shape. Thank you.